Okay, we're back. Right now we're going to pick up the trail here. Actually at the bottom of the ravine in a area just a little bit upstream from where the marsh is. You can see what the heavy water over time has done to the root system and this big old tree right here. So it's not uncommon for them to drop down. There's one that probably went down in a storm, but a lot of dead trees in here. Some of them probably been lying here for at least a couple 300 years. So a lot of hunters come over here. They like to hunt here. Limited hunting, but usually the hunter will find a nice spot right up on a bluff or above the ravine. Usually watch the deer come on down. Come on down for water. A lot of deer trails right in here. We're going to take this deer trail right up here, well worn. This looks like a super highway for deer. Very well cleared. No obstacles to speak of. And nice, easy trail for them to get uphill. And when you get up here, you kind of get a feel for this is for the height. We walked up probably a good 30 feet. I got like a little plateau right here. And we were talking about deer hunters. Well, here's a deer stand right here on this tree. In case anybody wants to get up there and get a good look. You can get a good look down at that ravine. And you can kind of see where we were down in here. Like I said, it's about a good 30 feet on down there. But we're going to go upstream even more. The ravine gets even more impressive. And remember, like I say, there's a lot of deer back in here. Nobody really knows for sure how many, but there's been times I've seen 7, 8 out in the field behind the house. Sometimes you see them going across the street, and many times they're just passing through. They may not live here. They just might be visiting momentarily and move on. So now we could go down this way, follow that big trail down there, a big rock, or looks like we're at a dead end here. So I'm going to probably go up and around. There's a nice big old maple tree right there, as you can see. But we're going to have to head over to my left, see if we can find an easier trail to navigate. We don't want to lose all of our energy on just one trip. But it is very beautiful in here. You can see there's a trail here, or we can take a trail over there. I guess let's flip a coin. We'll take this one right here. And this one should take us down again to the ravine. Everybody watch your step, going downhill. Alright, here we go. When you go downhill, if it's really steep, you want to kind of lean back a little bit so you don't lose your balance. This is an area here, you can see where the water is really cut into the ravine. And you got it coming in as like an S curve. It's coming around. Then the ravine goes right here, and you can see it's pretty darn deep in there. And we're going to see if we can get a better look. You can kind of see take a look at those trees, and below that's tree leaves. That's the ravine down in there. Some big rocks, a lot of big rocks, and occasionally you find some stuff that washed down in there. But keep in mind, this area has probably been cleared now for a good 225 years. So anything that might have been laid back in there from the pioneers is probably gone at this point in time. I do want to point out either a hole that's either a foxhole or raccoons or something, but that's a big hole there. That's a good 12 inches by 12 inches, or 12 inches in diameter there. I wonder if anybody's home. I suppose we could check. Anybody down there? Anybody want to go down there and see? Yeah, we better not. Sometimes they can bite if they're agitated, but they're all over here. You might say this is a community foxhole, raccoon hole, or maybe even groundhogs. Well, these look quite a bit bigger than a normal groundhog hole. So Now, let's see if we can cut over here and get down to the actual creek bed, and I can show you a lot of the rocks that kind of build up in here. If you're a rock hunter, if you like rocks, this is the place. Some of these rocks have probably been here, well, of course they have, since the beginning of time. But how they get down into there, when the water rises on these creek beds, and they loose rocks just fall right in, and whoop, we almost did too. But yeah, here you go, you can see some stuff in here, a lot of rocks. Yeah, a rock with moss on it even, look at that. It's probably been sitting there forever. It gets a lot of cool temperatures at night. And it's got some water that's kind of settled in here. You're going to find those areas that have, like little basins, and the water will collect there. It's good. That gives the deer something to drink and keeps them happy. Like I say, this is an S-curve here. It kind of goes around in the corner, and it continues upstream. But you can see that sometimes there's some elevation in this creek. So when the water starts to rush, it can really get going. And that's why you see in the corners, they call those eddies. That's where the water makes its turn and it picks up and digs into the cliffs before it moves on downstream. Now I want to show you something I really think is cool, and I've been doing some mining, if you will. Oh, another deer poops right here. So that's fresh too. That's very fresh. How do you know it's fresh? Well, you just look at it. You don't get down there and touch it. You don't get down there and smell it. You just take my word on it. It is fresh. But this area here, if you were going to go camping, this would be beautiful. Because you've got the stream coming in here. And like I say, it makes its turn. It creates an S turn right here. And it's some nice flat land in here. And it comes around and goes around the corner over here. So it's a real nice area. And you got some flat areas. You might have to clear out some of the areas. But you're right in the middle of a lot of trails. Deer trails come on down here. And they kind of go every which way. So it's kind of like the big city for deer. This is our main junctions right here. But this is what I like coming up. The early pioneers, I told you this area here was just basically what you're seeing here was everywhere. So the farmers, early pioneers, had to come in here and clear the land. Now you're going to see all kinds of boulders. These were probably sitting in the fields. And when they took out all the trees, next thing they had to get all the rocks out. So they probably loaded them up in these wagons with big horses, Belgian work horses or the like, and they would load up that wagon and they'd come over to the edge of this cliff right here and they would drop them in. So in here you've got boulders. If you're a landscaper, there's boulders, boulders, and more boulders. The big ones are still sitting here, and they're probably going to still sit in here for an awful long time because they're very heavy. They're very, very heavy. Now, if we could get them out of here, a landscaper would pay some pretty good money to have these on their lot. Some of the larger ones, well, let's say like this one right here, that would probably fetch $100 in a landscape because they go by the pound. It's about 50 cents a pound, and I guarantee you those babies are heavy, and they're all over. Now this is just one of the rock piles that I've found here. There's another one on the other side over by the wheat field, which I might be able to get to in another video, but that even is more impressive than this. Those rocks there are at least 4 times this size, and they could fetch as much as $500-600 in a landscape shop. But we're not here to dig them out for selling them. We're just here for the pleasure of them, and that's what we like to look at them. And if we can get them out, we like to put them over by the farmhouse and dress up the area. But you got to be careful, because we're usually, when you find rocks like this, you find, guess what, you know, yeah, poison ivy. That's poison ivy right there. So you always have to wear gloves if you go mining for rock in this particular area. So, alright, this is a rock right here that I've been trying to get up. I still have not gotten the strength to get it into a wagon, and even if I did, I'd have to get it up this hill right over here, and that's the edge of the hayfield right up there on the other side of those trees, and you can back a truck in there. The problem is you can't get the truck down this path. If I could get it down this path, I might be able to get more rock out of here. But I have to take a wagon up there, and it goes up there, and then finally I get to the pickup truck. So, but we're not going to do that today. I'm going to head up stream just a little bit more. Hopefully you're not bored at this point. But maybe what we'll do at this point, we'll sign off because we're going to have to negotiate a stream. And last I know, there's still no bridge here. That gives me an idea. We could put a bridge right here. Alright, we'll sign off for now. See you at the next time as we go upstream.